Hello! So, water ripple effects. Actually, it's just a 2D layer being made into a 3D layer. So this is how it actually looked like. And the effect is essentially just particle with just some effects, and it is just repeating this single comb. So, how do we make this single comb? Let's make a new comb. This is 500 and 500. This is what they recommended for the effects. So we just create a new solid, white solid, and we can just start to create the ripple first, which is just a simple masking. So something like this, we can reduce this a little bit. Now let's turn off the mask, and what we need to do is to make sure set this to none, and we need to make it to have something like this blank area so that it doesn't disappear completely, so it have this randomized edge from the disappearance. So what I did is I make a fractal noise and make it dynamic progressive, and this is okay. And when we make the contrast high and reduce the brightness, we change this to clip, and the transform, just make it really tall, really tall, like this tall, and make it something like this. And we can just also add this to make it more flat. Why do we make it like this? Because I will add this effect, polar coordinates. This makes everything into a circular, and we just change this to tada, get this. So now it will have texture around it instead of just white. So we cannot use this with the mask because the mask apply before the effects. So what I did is I make a new solid white, and this one is just for the mask. So I just cut this and then paste it here, and then I just adjust the time to around here, and the comb setting. So now I just set this to its track mate. Let's make it Luma mate, and I make this into subtract, and the water now have a texture. Now if you see this, it has its disappearance rate, and with that we need to make this disappear from the full white onto a full black. And for that I use exposure. I put it before the polar coordinates, so everything gets polar coordinated just to make it easier to remember. Let me rename this. Okay, now to animate the brightness, I use exposure. I add everything before the polar coordinates, so everything is easier to remember. And I just animate the offset, usually just from 1 to make it pure white, and then to -1 to make it pure black. So it's something like this. Okay, so with this we can you can check its animation first, and we can play around with the opacity as well. Let's make it to 0, so it completely disappears as well, and there we go. See? And with that we can add a different kind of transition. It's called Venetian blind, if you guys have ever tried it. So let me turn off this polar coordinate first, and I will show you how it actually works. So it just works like this. It creates blinds and it creates a transition wipe. We can adjust its width to make sure it's not too many of blinds, and we can also adjust its feather. With this we can animate. You can put the animation here. Let me pull up the animation, and we can set it from 0 to 100 around here. So when applied with polar coordinates, it will look like something wipes away more naturally. You can also reduce this and to make sure it's something like can also reduce this and see, yeah, something like this. I usually duplicate this and create another one and just play around with this so that it doesn't look like there is a 5 in there, so it looks more random, and I play around with this as well, so it doesn't look repetitive. And we can just adjust it to make it looks nicer. Yeah. Around here is good. Increase the mask is also good. So it's something like this. Yeah. Now we have the ripple. What we need to do next is create a particle system that spawns all this ripple. Here we can just create another comp from this, and then let's adjust it to 1080 to 1080, and we can just hide this, and we create a new solid, and we add a particular. And with this, we change the emitter into a box, and we change it into individual to make sure it's flat, so there is no G side. G is the front to back, so we don't need that. Only we need is height and length, and we make it the same size as this comb. And with that, the particles should spawn around this frame. And we need to reduce the velocity so that the ripple doesn't move to places, so it's spawn like this. And next is we just need to change its particles type into sprite, and we can change the sprite into the comb we made just now. Make sure it is not random, but we change it into start at birth and play once. There we go. And with that, we should have the ripple. And remember to increase the size, and we can randomize the size as well. Since it's only 30 frames, we can change the lifetime into 1 second is probably enough. So it will look like this. And there you go, ripple effect. And if you want to make it look 3D, just put it into another comb and make it into a 3D. Sorry, make it into 90 like this, and put it down, and you should have a ripple effect. Ta-da! That's it. Thank you for watching. That's it. Thank you for watching.